everything, okay, but the thing that really stuck in my mind was the very first paragraph of the very first article, in which they said, despite all the problems of the last 2 years, it is without a doubt that economic liberalism is the best system we have. And what still bothers me is that term best, because it assumes that everybody who reads The Economist assumes that economic growth and consumer spending and increase in gross domestic products is necessarily a good thing. It wasn't said like perhaps or possibly or maybe. It was stated as if it was a fact that we all agreed on. And yet, any single economic activity necessarily puts stresses on the environment. And therefore, I didn't agree with the premise at the very beginning, so it made it very difficult for me to move on.
Do you want to answer that, Tony?
It's difficult, but not impossible. You remember the old Winston Churchill quote about democracy being the worst of all possible systems except for the alternatives. Essentially, I think that particular paragraph operates on the same logic, because dislike as you may certain features of the market economy, if you begin to work your way through the alternatives, your hair will stand on end, I guarantee you. It just takes time and effort. It's easy to reject any particular feature of it. It's very hard to create alternatives, like with the example of the incentives. It's easy to reject bad incentives. It's easy to reject democracy on the level of I've got one more year in office, then I'm up for re-election, and I can't possibly do anything unpopular, right as it may be, during this coming year. Now, we didn't have terribly much luck with Plato and the philosopher kings, who were presumably not subject to re-election. And even the philosopher kings were mortal, thus presumably subject to the limitations of a time horizon. I think we are on the real frontiers of what we cannot do.
Thank you. Please, you all are passionate, but